Cupstack started in the early 80s doing my work at the Boys and Girls Club in Oceanside. We were having a staff meeting one day, and the kids came in from school a little bit early, and we were using paper cups in our meeting, and we gave them to the kids to stack and to run around the club and get out of our hair for a few minutes. When the kids came back in, they nearly knocked the table over, and cups were flying all over the place, and I thought that was great, and I think that's when Cupstack was born. We actually started organizing competitions and regulating Cupstack on maybe Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at 4 o'clock, and that's when our membership started increasing. So it was very fun, and we went a couple of years having basic minimal competitions, and realizing in the Boys and Girls Club field, we don't have a whole lot of money to work with, so we have to be very conscious of our budget and very creative. And that's when we really started to focus in on just paper cups. It developed into us using plastic cups that we were able to get a hold of, and in the middle, in about 1985, we started organizing school competitions. Not only did that increase our membership, it gave us a great opportunity to get into the schools and get a lot of people excited, not only the children, but the teachers and principals and all that. So we started going to national conferences in the late 80s, and we started noticing that children who were physically challenged, who had the use of maybe one hand, blind children, kids that were severely handicapped, started stacking cups, and Cupstack's grown into a full-on world championships in the 90s. One of the reasons I'm especially excited about where we are with Cupstack today is that Cupstack is making tremendous strides in elementary schools and youth organizations everywhere. Cupstack seems to thrive better when offered as an organized activity or sport and supervised by an adult, as opposed to maybe a child bringing a Cupstack kit home and merely stacking cups. When offered as a sport, it seems that so many more kids can participate in Cupstack as opposed to maybe the more conventional sports where, because of size, weight, or height or speed, they might not be able to participate as quickly into that sport as maybe they could with Cupstack. And so that's the story of Cupstack. The rest of this video will give you all the information you need to know on how to Cupstack. So on behalf of myself and Cupstackers everywhere, good luck and have fun. The basic equipment needed to start an organized Cupstack program are conventional items found in many schools, youth organizations, and physical recreation departments. Quad pods, which are very popular with tabletop maze games, are available through various sport equipment catalogs and come in different sizes. For scorekeeping, a standard device is recommended, especially for relay races and multiple team competitions. For recording individual times, a reliable stopwatch should be used. Also, Cupstack rules and information brochures provide information for individual or team competitions. A smaller version of this brochure is included in each purchase of the product Cupstacks, the official cups used in sanctioned Cupstack competition and events. Now that you have an idea of the basic equipment needs for your Cupstack program, let's take a look at some Cupstack terminology. We'll start with the term upstack, which is simply stacking your cups up to form pyramids. Now, using 6 cups to demonstrate, upstack begins with 3 cups placed closely together on the bottom level, 2 cups at mid-level, and the last cup on top. Let's take another look at the upstack technique. The next step is called the downstack phase, which is simply the opposite of the upstack phase. Cups are downstacked to the outside, then over the middle cup. Now let's take another look at the downstack technique. A fumble is a term used when cups are mishandled during the upstack or downstack phase. Remember, if a fumble should occur during the upstack phase, each fumble must be corrected before continuing. However, if a fumble should occur during the downstack phase, pyramids need not be rebuilt and players continue to put cups to original down positions. Now let's take a look at the official Cupstack kit. The Cupstack kit consists of 12 plastic cups held together conveniently to allow for easier carrying. The kit is disassembled by detaching the plastic hooks and pulling the L-stem out. As you can see, each cup has a hole at the bottom to allow air to escape during the downstack phase. When finished stacking, simply run the L stem through the bottom of the cups and reattach the plastic hooks at the top. As you can see, the cups are held together firmly with these three basic components. The Cupstack kit will eventually reflect team names, colors, logos, mascots, and positive slogans. The following are samples of stacking techniques. The first technique is called the 1-1-1 method. This method is simply the original or first form of cup stack, that is, stacking cups one at a time. This method is used primarily by beginners and many young cup stackers. Next, we have the 2-2-2 method. To more clearly demonstrate, we'll start with cups to the side. In the 2-2-2 method, cups are stacked two at a time. Two cups are taken simultaneously from one stack. Again, with one cup in each hand, cup stacker places both cups side by side and away from the original stack, then returns to the stack for two more cups. Cup stackers continue this technique until the pyramid is completed. Here we have the 3-2-1 method. Term 3-2-1 because from a 6 stack of cups, 3 cups are removed with the first hand, 2 with the second, as a pyramid is built from both sides of the remaining cup. The 3-2-1 method is the most popular method and is used by most advanced cup stackers. Repetition and practice is the key to mastering the 3-2-1 method. Now let's move on to the advanced 5-4-1 method. The 5-4-1 method applies to a 10 stack of cups. Stackers begin by grabbing 5 cups with the first hand, 4 with the second, and building the pyramid from both sides of the remaining cup. As you can see, there are 4 levels of cups in a 10 stack pyramid. Here are some tips to improve your cup stack skills. Using your 3 cups, both hands remove, upstack and downstack your cups in one continuous fluid motion. Practice reversing the motion, going in the opposite direction as well. Let's add 3 cups and work on a 6-cup pyramid using the 3-2-1 method. Remember, repetition and practice is a key to increasing your speed. To ensure a solid base and to minimize fumbles, always keep your cups as close together as possible. Let's work on our 10-stack pyramid using the 5-4-1 method. Notice how each level is built from the inside out toward the top. Remember, downstacking is always to the side and toward the middle cups. Ambidexterity and coordination is greatly improved by stacking cups simultaneously with both hands. Let's work on another tip by stacking our 3 cups, moving sideways and back and forth. I call this tip walking the cups. When practicing, always remember to reverse your direction to improve coordination on both sides of your body. For another tip, let's go back to the yellow 6 cups. Here we notice the child having difficulty building a 6-cup pyramid using a 3-2-1 method. For young stackers and beginners, sometimes seeing a stack of same colored cups can be quite confusing. By incorporating colored cups into the stacker is able to negotiate the 3-2-1 method and complete the 6-cup pyramid. Using different colored cups is also very useful in teaching the 3-2-1 method to beginners. Now that you've got the basics down, let's learn some variations of Cupstack beginning with the 3-3-3 formation. The formation term 3-3-3 simply corresponds to the amount of cups in each stack. We begin by building each stack at either end, moving horizontally across the table. As mentioned earlier, the first stacking action is called the upstack phase. When all stacks are built, Cupstacker must always return to the starting point to begin the downstack phase. The 3-3-3 formation is used primarily by young stackers for practicing continuity before trying larger pyramid formations. Let's move on to the 3-6-3 formation, which is the official standard by which cup stackers are graded into speed categories. Advanced stackers must be able to complete the 3-6-3 sequence in 4 seconds or less on a consistent basis. 5 to 8 seconds is the intermediate level, while 9 seconds and over is the novice or beginner category. In a head-to-head single competition, stackers race in a 2-out-of-3 match on separate tables. Competitions may also be facilitated by simply using a stopwatch to record best times for respective age group categories. Another popular formation is called the 6-6. This formation is used when focusing on improving your 6-cup stacking skills. Remember, stackers may begin the upstack phase on either end, but must always return to the starting point to begin the downstacking phase. Another possible formation with your 12 cups is called the 1-10-1. The upstack phase begins by upstacking the 1 cup, moving on to the 10 cups in the middle, and stacking a cup on the end, and moving back to the original starting point to begin the downstack phase. The Cupstack cycle is one of the most challenging endeavors in the sport of Cupstack. The cycle begins by upstacking a 3-6-3 sequence, downstacking, moving 3 cups over for a 6-6 setup, downstacking a 6-6, continuing on to a 1-10-1 with a 1 cup upstack, 10 cups in the middle, 1 upstack on the end, downstacking to the original 3-6-3 position. There are various forms of upstacking and downstacking methods used in the Cupstack cycle. Stackers should experiment and use creativity in finding a comfortable method to use when racing. Also, please note that when downstacking the 1-10-1, the 1 cups on the end must be downstacked before completing the downstack phase into the original 3-6-3 position. Next, we'll explore a few types of Cupstack races. Individual races begin with cup stackers at the tables. With both hands placed flat on the table, a starter may use a whistle or says, "Cup stackers, on your mark, get set, go." In head-to-head competition, 2 out of 3 individual races is recommended. Stopwatches have proven to be extremely popular, as are wristwatches that contain a recording mechanism. Take a look at World Cupstack champion Matt Adami as he breaks his own Cupstack cycle time of 8.2 seconds by recording a time of 7.58 at the 1996 World Cupstack Championships. The championships are held in June of each year.
Cup stackers on your marks, get set, and I'm just going to say go. I'm going to drop my hand, okay? Everybody?
In relay competition, the race begins with the leadoff stacker running up to the table to begin stacking. Keep in mind, leaving early or false starting twice will constitute a penalty or a 1-point deduction. Upon completing the stacking sequence, the leadoff stacker turns to tag the stacker in the second position, who also runs up to the table to begin the stacking sequence.
It is highly important for the stacker who is next in line or each cup stack coach to keep an eye on the cups when a stacker finishes a sequence and turns around. Many times the table is bumped and a stack falls on its side. This occurrence should be pointed out immediately for correction. If the next stacker in line even so much as touches the cups, that particular match is forfeited.
Okay, good job. Okay, huddle up, you guys. Okay, let me go to the judges table. Judges on the gold team, okay, you can explain to me. They had 1 point deduction. Red had none. Judge number 1, can you explain what kind of point deduction that the yellow team had? Judge number 1 says that one of the players came up and touched 2 cups simultaneously. This is illegal, to touch 2 cups at one time, so you guys were assessed a point. So, red team, point for the red.
Let's look at some guidelines to follow in scoring a relay match. Penalties and deductions are assessed for false starting twice. Missed hand tags in relay competition will constitute a 1-point deduction. Any interference with an opponent's cups will constitute an immediate forfeit of that particular match at the point of infraction. Uncorrected fumbles will constitute a 1-point deduction and are very costly in relay races. Poor sportsmanship should never be tolerated by officials, whom should discuss among themselves the severeness of each penalty. As pointed out in the official rules and information brochure, any relay team finishing first when both teams have 0 penalties or point deductions is declared the winner. When a relay team finishes first but has a 1-point deduction or 1 penalty more than the following team, the race is declared a tie. Both teams must re-race. Anytime a team finishing first or ahead of the next team has 2 or more point deductions or penalties, the second team wins automatically, whether the penalty count is 3 penalties to 1 penalty or 10 penalties to 8 penalties. The team with 2 less penalties automatically wins. When competing, try to cup stack on separate tables to avoid fumbles and interfering by shaking or bumping on the tables. Each table should be monitored by an individual judge who is aware and trained in cup stack rules. Always encourage stackers to finish a racing sequence even when multiple fumbles occur. Since assessing point deductions and penalties occurs at the end of each race, a team trailing far behind due to several infractions may actually still win the race. Team relay races are usually carried out in a best-of-7 tournament format. Now that you've learned some cup stack tips, let's ask World Cup Stack champ Matt Takadami what his secret is.
Practice, practice, practice.
Question in today's Sportlight, can you improve your athleticism? There's a clinic in La Jolla saying you can. David Lloyd checks it out.
What did Jim Courier, Karch Karai, and Steve Finley have in common? Well, they've all been trained by this man.
That's okay. That's what we want to do. Get our knees up, not reach with our lower leg.
Well, I've always been coaching for the last, I guess, 35 years. And basically started in track, but kept getting drawn out of track into football. And at the University of Nebraska, I was coaching track, and Coach Devaney talked me into coming out and helping with the football team and working on speed and quickness and so forth. And so they became the fastest team in the nation and won 2 national championships. And so then I just continued to go from job to job doing the same thing and teaching what we call athletic skills or athleticism. So worked at the University of Colorado, then Denver Broncos, Minnesota Vikings, Kansas City Chiefs, and New England Patriots. We went to the Super Bowl the first year, and a lot of the coaches felt mainly because of athleticism. Then I ended up in Indianapolis and worked at the Indiana Pacers and the National Institute for Fitness and Sports. Then we were looking for the ideal location on which to put our athletic development program. We looked at Florida for a number of years and just didn't find the right location, and then finally came to La Jolla to the Scripps Institute and Shiway Sports and Health Center, and we've put our program in there, and it'll be 2 years this March. The reason I've incorporated cup stacking into my total training program is that what we've found over the years that the vast majority of really outstanding performers in all sports are ambidextrous. And the future, we think, of athletes in the future is the ambidextrous athlete. And for instance, the 3 best basketball players of the last 10 years are Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and Larry Bird. All 3 are ambidextrous. And as we become ambidextrous, we're developing a greater percentage of the right side of the brain, which houses awareness, focus, creativity, rhythm. And this is why we think that those 3 athletes, for instance, in basketball, were so outstanding, is because it's development of the right side of the brain. We work with athletes on all levels in all sports, from beginners to elite athletes. We actually do the same thing with everybody. But cup stacking has been well received. The New York Knicks train with us in the summertime, and they've been exposed to it, and I'm sure some of them do it both competitively and recreationally. The Vancouver team is supposed to come and work with us this summer. I'll be going to the Baltimore Orioles spring training, and we will work with their 50 best minor league players. We have lots of beach volleyball players that are working with us, lots of tennis players. Some of the best young tennis players in the United States are doing cup stacking on a regular basis and all. But we're seeing some remarkable gains in their ability to perform their sports-specific skills as they do what we call athletic skills. And we would call cup stacking, even though it's specific to cup stacking, we would call this an athletic skill. And it's just contributed greatly to the sports-specific skills of our athletes. One of the best examples of cup stacking is Zach Thomas. We went out and worked with him to prepare him for the combine for the NFL. And we introduced cup stacking. It was about midnight, I guess, by the time we got around to cup stacking. And he started doing it, and naturally he's a very competitive guy. And so the Miami Dolphins drafted Zach in the 5th round. A lot of people felt he was too small to be an NFL linebacker. But Zach ended up, I'm sure, leading the NFL. He had 182 tackles this year as a rookie middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. I'm convinced that his ambidexterity and his right side of brain development and things like this made a significant contribution to his great rookie season with the Miami Dolphins. We're starting the first physical golf training program that we think here in the United States. And I'm sure there's other people that have got people stretching and doing some resistance training and all, but we're trying to give them a total training program for golfers. And we've been doing this now for 3 weeks, and we've just seen remarkable gains as their ability to shoot a lower score. One of our golfers, he's kind of a beginner, but the best he'd ever shot was 107. And last Saturday he shot a 98. And so cup stacking, again, is going to be one of the integral parts of this total training program for golfers, even though the emphasis is on range of motion and flexibility. But hand-eye coordination and ambidexterity is critical to playing great golf. And Tiger Woods is going to revolutionize golf training because of him being a superior athlete. And cup stacking is going to help our athletes and our clients become better athletes too. So it's going to be a very important part of our training program along with the rest of our ambidexterity activities.
Well, as I think back, there was always a lot of excitement about building the level of participation throughout the school when we'd have school-wide tournaments and we're developing our teams, and we had boys teams and girls teams at all the different grade levels as we were preparing eventually to go to the World Championship. So that was all very exciting, and there was always a lot of excitement at school building towards that. It was usually like a 2-3 month process building up to that. Probably the funniest experience I can remember was in particular, this one little kindergarten girl who was quite good, who kept competing against this big 6th grade boy who he thought he was pretty much the king of the hill, and he always was aggressive in a lot of the other sports in school, and basically fell into the category of a bit of a bully. And he would go up against her, and he was beat several times in front of his friends, and he'd keep coming back every day to prove her wrong. And I used to sit in the background and kind of laugh because I knew he didn't have a chance. And that always sticks out in my mind, is that little tiny kindergartner. Her ability to take on the big boy.
You're about to see something I have not seen before. This is really unusual, and these youngsters are rather remarkable at it. And Harry Blake of our makeup department brought this to our attention. They are cup stackers. you've never heard of this before, cup stackers from the Boys and Girls Club of Oceanside, California.
Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt.
How do you put them back together so fast?
Every day here at the Boys and Girls Club in Oceanside, California, you'll find 80 to 100 kids doing everything from foosball to ping pong. This club is truly a home away from home that keeps these kids off the streets. I talked to Matt, the winning captain, after the game. Do you have any heroes in sports?
Yeah, my hero is in basketball, Michael Jordan.
Do you think he could stack as fast as you?
I don't think so.
メンバーが挑戦しちゃいますぞ。印象差と冷静さが要求されるだけでメンバーも真剣そのもの。そのゲームとはこれだ。カップスタッキング。最後3つ。熱い熱い。It's too hot.
We'll wait a couple of minutes until we get the 6th grade boys celebrations. Our mission match underway.